Ladies and gentlemen, it's that time of the week again, and this week it's another Games Club, and on this Game Club, we're crying the tears of the kingdom. It's Zelda, ladies and gentlemen. All right, it's me. It's your host Darren Wade, and today I am joined by our good friend Colm Nolan. Colm, how are you?
Hi, Darren, and hi, next guest, who I shan't name yet.
Oh, the big surprise! Also joining us for the very first time, who's a big Zelda lover, and I couldn't have imagined this episode without him.
Aww.
Is our good friend Dr. Daniel.
That's me.
The count.
Did you forget how to pronounce my last name again?
Markovic.
Very good.
No, I was just pausing for dramatic effect.
For dramatic effect.
You guys just stumbled in. Daniel, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you very much. After so many name drops, I had to appear, you know.
Yeah.
So it's really good to be here. What a nice setup you guys have.
Thank you. It's so professional.
It actually is, though. Like, I mean, I've done a good few episodes at this stage, but it's still a professional setup. Like, it's not quite your basement, and it's not quite
a studio,
your parents' house. You know,
that's true.
It's super cozy. It does the job. It's really, really cool. I love it.
I'm just gonna because I said I should put this timer on for you
guys.
So you guys could see. But Dan, what we usually do is when we're starting on episodes, this is a games club where we're going to go through a full game in review, and of course in this episode we're going to go do Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. A little bit late to the party, but we figured there's a lot in that game for people just to explore and play around with. And here on the Gifted Gaming Podcast, we're not interested in being the first people out there to give the review.
Boring.
Unless it's Final Fantasy VII Rebirth.
When there's a race to get there.
Yeah, absolutely. But Daniel, we usually start off the episode by I'd ask the guys, what games have they been playing of late? So
there's two main ones. I'm still knee deep in Baldur's Gate 3.
Oh yeah, aren't we all?
Finished the first act, and as I arrived to the beginning of the second act, I decided to take a break, not to overwhelm myself with too much Baldur's Gate, and I did my homework and decided to watch all the game directs and Sony State of Play. And I was so impressed with one trailer that I decided to try out Final Fantasy VII Remake.
No way!
And for you guys that you know, I'm not a big Final Fantasy fan.
Yeah.
And I am freaking loving that game.
Wow. And I'm so, it makes me so happy to see, because what happened recently was myself and Kev B, who does all the Final Fantasy stuff on the podcast, we are obsessed with any news about it at the minute. And it was so funny because we watched the trailer, and then there was loads of a few bits that came out in terms of there was a demo that some people were allowed to play, and me and Kev were messing each other being like, oh, should we watch this, shouldn't we? Well, maybe no spoilers and we'll keep the game we watched the shit out of that. And then they had at the Tokyo Games Con, they released this half an hour footage of them doing the open world, and Colm, you'll love this, Chocobo Farm.
Ooh, yeah.
All that kind of little mini quests and side quests, and what Colm looked like, and that game is going to be a monster game. It looks amazing. So I wasn't able to keep myself away, but I'm so happy, Dan, that you as a non-Final Fantasy fan,
I found my way there. I'm quite deep in it. I think I'm 90% done with it.
Have you done anything with the dresses yet?
I am all done with that. And so the entire part, whoever didn't play it, I don't think there's a person in this world who didn't, but there's an entire part where you are auditioning for this guy who is the owner of a certain club. And there's this entire dance sequence which you have to press buttons at an exact time to get a good score. And I was so immersed in this that I just had to record the entire 3 minutes of dance routine and then rewatch it to really appreciate
what's actually going on.
Amazing that scene was.
That scene's so good.
And I think I don't want to ruin that last sentence that Andrea tells Cloud at the end of it, but the gist of it, where gender is just a state of mind, and I was like, holy sorry, I don't know. Are we allowed to curse here?
Yeah, of course you are.
Okay, holy shit.
There you go.
This is such a, I don't know, to see someone say something like this, so much gender fluidity in a game that existed in the original as well. I have no idea about the original, but my partner Marcus, who knows all about it, so he knows all these things, and how they translated it into the remake, I was just blown away.
Yeah.
Really blown away. And M being blown away by that game. Yeah,
good.
Absolutely.
Amazing. Well, what about you, Colm? What are you up to playing these days?
Similar there, half of Daniel's picks. I'm also in Baldur's Gate. I think I have like filtered myself or diluted myself less in other games, so I'm like at the end of Act 2. Like even before I came down here, I went to do something and it was like, are you sure you want to do this? If you do this, the state of this area will change. It was no like, you will move to a new area. It's like, no, shit's going to change. So I was like, nah, I'm not doing that.
Yeah. I like things being nice and bright.
What a great game.
It is. It has some flaws to it, but they're the same kind of games, flaws you get with all those CRPGs. Like doing quests out of the recommended sequence, you can kind of get quest locked a lot, which has only happened to me once, but it has happened to me kind of only at the end of the game. And I'm trying to like do some workarounds. So like, that's the one kind of gripe that I would have for it. But otherwise, I absolutely love this game. It's like right up there. I know I've like sung praises of Wasteland 2 and 3 in the past. Yeah. But the mechanics, the controls and stuff, it's Wasteland 2 and 3, except, D&D. Yeah. But those games are D&D, except it's rangers and robots, I think.
Oh, okay. So like a bit more of a futuristic vibe to the Wasteland?
Yes, yeah. Which is awesome. It's all like post-apocalyptic, my kind of jam, You're either in a desert or you're in a like blizzard. One or the other.
One or the other. I love that. Yeah, great game. I still haven't gotten as far in it as I would have liked at all. I'm still kind of closing.
Act 2 though, right?
No, closing it on the end of Act 1, I think, pretty much. I just haven't been able to. And the problem is that I got so excited to play it online with people that I've got like 2 or 3 groups, so you keep having to go back to the start. And I'm like, I'm never going to finish this game, am I?
It's so hard to do that because like you can only play with 4 people, right? And then if anyone else wants to come in at any later points, like the next day, they have to play as an existing character. Yes. You can't just create a new one and then level scale them or whatever.
Yeah, if your party's full, that's it. Like no one else can. Which I get because there's probably so many points being tallied the whole way through the game that it's probably a nightmare for them to say, well, you can have as many people come into this party as you want. But like when you have a group of like 7-8 people playing Baldur's Gate 3 and you all just want to play together, it's like, I wish you could just join whenever you wanted to. But I mean, they could hop on and play your character, I guess, if you were willing to let go. Also, at the minute, I'm playing F099. Can't get enough of that.
Oh, right, the new Switch thing.
The Switch, yeah, it's like a Battle Royale F-Zero. So it's the original F-Zero game, only 99 racers surviving as long as you can.
They're fun,
yeah, it's been good. And I'm not bad at it, It's I'm not amazing.
Spinning, isn't that it? Like you get the purple stuff for health on the sides of the level, and then you can do like your spinning attack.
Your spinning attack, you collect, and for everybody that you hit or everybody that gets hit in front of you, they drop like these golden ball things that power up like a super boost, which gives you a shortcut. It's a lot of fun. It's just one of those very easy pick up and play. That's been my problem lately. I haven't had enough time for video games for the last like week or two. I know. I'm a guy who's doing a game podcast.
You're gonna be deposed, man.
Yeah, I know. and what's worse is we're doing this game review of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, and I ain't played that game. But I guess we'll get into it. I guess we'll get into the actual nitty gritty bits of it. One of the fun challenges I had for you, Daniel, as a big Tears of the Kingdom fan, this being your first episode. Not that I am anti-Zelda. Ocarina of Time, I absolutely adored. I played the absolute crap out of that on the 3DS version that was remastered.
Can the microphone catch my rolling of the eyes? I don't think so.
Ouch, Jesus. Well, I'm in for it for this episode. But played that, and then I played Breath of the Wild for about, I would say, 6 or 7 hours. Not that I didn't enjoy it, it's just that I had just finished the first Horizon game and I had serious open world fatigue. I think if there's 2 games in my library that have really suffered from any kind of like open world fatigue or the same kind of style of game fatigue, it's been Breath of the Wild and Ghost of Tsushima. I've never been able to pick that one up and actually get into it. So I haven't played it. So you guys have, Colm, I know you haven't played Breath of the Wild, but
I also have. Well, I played it, but for like maybe an hour to 2 hours, and then I jumped out. I just never had access to it again. So jumping into Tears of the Kingdom was, like, for example, I was chatting away to somebody who has played Breath of the Wild, and they're like, "Oh, just go to the old temple, like where you met this person." And I'm like, what the fuck does that mean? Where is that? And they're like, oh, have you not played Breath of the Wild? I'm like, no. And they're like, oh, well, this is all going to be very interesting to you then.
But you told me an interesting thing, Daniel, that you didn't consider it a sequel per se.
No, and I know a lot of people have, but I think, I don't know, the way that I kind of look at these Zelda games are that if you are looking for continuity, you're kind of crutching it, you know, you're shooting yourself in the leg. For me, looking at it, I kind of saw it as a almost a parallel storytelling. Like the first game, Breath of the Wild, didn't really happen in that universe. There's no, you know, the beasts or all that, the stuff that went down in the first one. You just kind of, the game starts with Link and Zelda just go under the castle to investigate something. And I think that because Link is all powerful and has the Master Sword, everybody was just like, oh yeah, it's the same Link from the previous one. But for me, I just kind of looked at it as, okay, either this is some sort of a parallel storytelling, or this is another iteration of the reincarnation of this Link and Zelda and the big bad that they always do. But this is just a personal preference. Yeah. This isn't like a thing that I am...
Well, even if you were
going to fight you out.
Yeah, I guess. Even if you looked at it like they were sequels, there's enough time, like time passes. So like they do to an extent. They're kind of like, all right, well the calamity is done now, and then Link and Zelda are just in the basement of Hyrule Temple, and they're exploring, and you see those like hieroglyphs, and one of them's like smashed, or a few of them are smashed, and then you're like, oh, what's that gonna show? And then later, of course, you do see what that says. But Darren won't know, and we'll never tell.
No, we will never spoil it. But I gotta say that it took me. I was kind of thinking, because we were talking about best Zelda games and stuff like that, and I think that this one, Tears of the Kingdom, but I can't imagine a better Zelda game from the past 20, 30, 25 years, 35 years, I think now.
Wow.
Yeah. This was the best one. I actually teared up on several scenes. I was like, this is like really emotional, like to see this and to experience this. It was just something else.
Yeah. And like opinion. I 100% agree with that. There was one or two moments, like there's not that many cutscenes in this game, but the cutscenes, you almost have to kind of go searching for them. And I think it's either the very last one you get, or when you find, let's say, all 12 cutscenes, you get a 13th one. And there was just a cutscene specifically where you see, like, this shan't be a spoiler because I won't tell you what he does exactly, but there's a character, Rauru, like the king of Hyrule at the time, and he does something so anime and so fucking badass that I remember just getting like goosebumps and just being like, this is so fucking cool. And this isn't even Link, you know what I mean? This is like just some, like, well, he's like the leader. He's essentially their Zelda, or like one of their like a certain timeline's sages, you know?
So I think preparing for this kind of meeting and reading up about the game itself and Breath of the Wild, I came across somewhere someone mentioned compared Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, and they said that compared to Tears of the Kingdom, Breath of the Wild seems like a beta for Tears of the Kingdom.
I get that, yeah.
It's and looking at it now, I don't think that after playing Tears of the Kingdom, I can ever go back to play Breath of the Wild. It's not worth it, because it's like they took Breath of the Wild, they learned from everything they did, and they just honed it to such an extent where the mechanics of the game from Breath of the Wild are kind of appearing in Tears of the Kingdom, but to the nth degree. Storytelling is amazing compared to Breath of the Wild. I think it's way more approachable. If you want the story, you just go and find it yourself, which is very Breath of the Wild as well. But this one, it kind of draws you in. There's all this mystery in the world that you kind of like, okay, what is this about, you know? And it just really, it manages to rekindle that excitement, at least, that I had when I played Breath of the Wild for the first time. I didn't think that they would be able to do it, and there was a time when I just put the game down for a few good weeks, because maybe it was open world fatigue, maybe it was just I needed some time to
digest.
Maybe that. But once I got back into it, it was just full steam ahead, and I couldn't let it down. I couldn't let it go. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. And so, because I know you've got some topics that you want to get into.
Yeah, sure.
No, you had topics which you told me, and then you've since apparently scrapped them and come up with some secret topic list.
Secret topic.
List that I am unaware of. But I'll ask this question because we're getting closer to. We're kind of approaching the final quarter of the year, and one thing I'll always ask the guys is, or one thing we'll be doing an episode on is kind of what is your game of the year. And based on the fact that Breath of the Wild won Game of the Year back in 2017, I think it's probably safe to say, based on both your reactions playing the game, this is 100% in the conversation for Game of the Year 2023, right?
For the conversation, yes. But I do think that with all my love to Zelda, I do think Baldur's Gate's going to take it.
Yeah, that like when you were saying it there, I was like, earlier in the year, I'd have agreed with you wholeheartedly. Yeah. But now that I'm so deep into Baldur's Gate, I'm like, it's such a different type of game in comparison. Like, there's still all the explore and all that kind of stuff, but you're just, you're making a character, you putting skill points into different areas. Link, very much so, you just have your abilities almost from the get-go, and then it's just the world is your oyster. Go forth, go have a good time.
Two very different, I suppose, game mechanics or ways to play a game.
Yeah. But again, I wish it is going to be Tears of the Kingdom. I think it's going to be Baldur's Gate, but I do appreciate with Tears of the Kingdom how they have just. Again, and this is the same conversation from Breath of the Wild. They don't hold your hand. They are like, you know what? We've created this. You do whatever you want. Yeah. We don't care. You want to go fight the big boss right now? Go. Who's stopping you? I'm not stopping you. The game is not holding anything to stop you from doing whatever you want to do. And I think that is such an exciting prospect compared to a lot of other games that they do expect you to go through the rigmarole of, okay, here is the opening sequence. Here is what you have to do now. Oh, you need to get a little bit stronger before you get to these places. None of it holds with Tears of the Kingdom.
So you can go, because, I remember from my playing of Zelda, that you've got your hearts and you can get your heart jars and upgrade your hearts to have more hearts. So can you go and actually complete? I mean, is that still a case? Is that still the same basic Zelda mechanics still apply here?
Yes, in this game, instead of like beating a boss, well, actually, if you beat a boss, you will probably get a heart for it too. Yeah, but usually it's shrines now. So like Breath of the Wild, you go to 4 shrines, and that'll add to like a stamina increase or a heart increase. Stamina is a good one to go for to get like 2 wheels, because when you're flying or gliding, like it'll drain your stamina. So like you can get certain sages throughout the game that will assist certain abilities. And there's one cut from the Rito tribe who will like basically while you're gliding, he'll shoot a gust of wind behind you and just propel you through the air at a faster speed. I don't know if it works that way too, but does it like regenerate your stamina while you're getting pushed through the...
No, I don't think so.
Maybe not. Yeah, but there's so many nice little things there, and then you have like a different sage that might help you with like some stubborn rocks that you don't want to break your weapons on, and like little things like that throughout the game. I have to say, like, Tears of the Kingdom was a brilliant game. I'd still definitely consider it a contender for Game of the Year. Just maybe it's because I'm right in Baldur's Gate now and I can't take myself away from it, you know?
Can't think of anything else.
But like, it's such a fucking fantastic game. Like, you can fuse weapons, and it's not like a topic or anything, but I was like wondering if you did something like this as well. Like, you can buy weapons from these Poes in the darkness or the depths, and essentially they'll sell you like a Goron sword or like a very strong weapon. So what I was doing is I was buying this really awesome weapon from them. I was then fusing it with like one of my most strongest like ingredients, like a Lionel mane or something like that. And then when it was getting close to breaking, I was going back to that like little Tarry town, and I was going to the Goron there and telling him to disassemble my pieces. And I was able to get the sword back. The sword would still be damaged, but you get the ingredient back at full strength. So like it could be the lion's mane or something. Nice. And I never did this. Oh, okay. No. Well, he was there. You could do it with any of your like shields or weapons or anything like that. It's only like 20 gold or 20 rupees, something small like that too. But you can also then, apparently, I never did this, but Craig was telling me, if you have a like rusty or almost damaged or almost broken weapon, you can like drop it on the ground in front of an octo rock,
and one of those guys.
They suck it in, and then they'll like clean up. If it's a rusty weapon, they'll clean the rust off it and come back out as like a shiny, and the damage goes up and everything. Or if it was like just about to break, it'll come back at full strength.
So you're good to go again.
So if you learn these spawning locations of these little octo rocks, you can technically never break any of your really good weapons, and you always have a few duds there, like a big stick with a rock on the end of it. You're like,
well, you have to break it you have to break some rocks along the way.
Exactly. But that's just a mechanic of the game, Darren. That's just like something small that you just get to play with.
We'll get into kind of like your topic list, Daniel.
Yes.
I mean, I don't know what this is, but hit me. What do you got?
Well, I mean, Colm mentioned it, and I think that it's a good place to start. Like, what abilities like Link has this game, and I think compared to other Zelda games, well, a lot of the very good Zelda games, I think what they were able to do is to introduce a new mechanic, and then expect you to seamlessly work it into the world. So the big one that comes to mind is Link Between Worlds, which was a DS3 release, where Link could fuse into the walls and then he could walk along walls. So your entire aspect on how you view the game automatically changes, because all of a sudden there were no chasms. You just kind of slapped into wall and moved along. And very similarly in this game, you get all these abilities, and that completely changes the way that you view and traverse in the game. And I think the best one is just the ability to ascend through.
It's amazing. Yes.
Because it completely changes how you think about the game.
Ascend through, is this from what I remember from the trailers, where you can actually like dig up through rocks and cliffs?
So you jump through rocks that are not too high, and then you just go all the way up to the next level of that rock. So if you're in the middle of a cave and you've spent half an hour spelunking it, and you're like, okay, I'm not going out the same way, you just ascend through the cave.
It's just like the developers just being so
wall.
kind to you,
So I don't know if that's real, but I read that this was a developer tool, because they were like, okay, we want to go somewhere else now. So they've developed that tool to help them design the game. And then they just kept it as one of Link's abilities. I don't know if it's real, but I like the story.
Yeah. You sold it too. I was like, that's so factual. Wow.
And then obviously the Ultra Hand, where you fuse things together, pick stuff up, fuse things together.
Oh, yeah. Fuse and Ultra Hand kind of go hand in hand, don't they?
Which allows you to just basically build whatever the hell you want, which is just incredible.
It's very fun. I definitely didn't give it as big a go as some of the like YouTube people, and even like one of our friends, Andy Garland, while he was over visiting, he was like, anytime I was playing the game, he was like, oh, what's the craziest thing you've built? And like, what's the most complicated? I was like, I built a bridge with like 20 logs.
That's as far into this as I'm going.
So when you play this game, you come across these ancient devices that give you different pieces, different contraptions. You have fans. You have what else? You have
flame emitters,
yeah, water emitters,
fans. You know, the
the fans. You have platforms that just kind of hang up in the air,
springs and such.
And you can just use them, fuse them, and build whatever you want. I think the first thing the game made me build, because I didn't know how to cross a certain place, I built a kind of a monorail. So I put a tiny cart on a hook, and I put the hook on just a line, a metal line. Put a fan on the back of the cart, and it just propelled me all the way through. And that game makes me feel so smart. And I was like, I am the smartest boy alive.
Now I'm going to plan a city, get my degree as an engineer,
and build a bridge with 20 logs.
From 20 logs. And the more the game develops, the more you find different things. You find wings. You
gliders.
Yeah. You find skateboards, rollerboards. You find huge wheels to build 4x4s.
You can get these like basically control sticks that you can use to attach to anything, and if that thing has wheels or a fan, you'll be able to like steer it and direct it where you want. So it's just like a little, like a steering wheel essentially, but you sit onto it and you have like the throttle. But you can make I think it's like with one of those and 2 fans, you can make like a Star Wars like hover bike kind of situation, and just fly around indefinitely until your energy meter runs out.
Yeah.
You know?
Which is just and then the fusibility to fuse everything you find in the world to your weapons, to your shields. It is just the options are so limitless that I am not surprised that to this day, several months now since the game was released, people are still finding new stuff to do, to build, to explore, and it's just amazing.
Absolutely. And like there's one power we haven't really touched on just yet either, and that is the reverse. Like you can reverse time of any object, and it is awesome. Like there's so many applications for it. Like
when you say reverse the time of any object, do you mean that like an object that's been in play in some way?
Yes. Let's say you threw a rock at me, and before it hit me, I just activate my little wheel. Time stops. I have all the time in the world to find your little rock. I'm gonna find it. I'm gonna press like return. And it's going to go back at you with the same force or momentum that you threw it at.
Oh my God. It's like Neo in the Matrix.
So I think what is really amazing about this is that everything in the game remembers where everything was. So if you now pick up a plate and move it towards somewhere and then back towards you and then reverse it, you can use that as basically an elevator to traverse you to wherever you want. And a lot of the shrines, I just cheesed by that. I was like, screw this. I'm not doing it your way. I'm doing it my way.
Well, that was the interesting thing that I found about it in what I was kind of paying attention to during kind of like with trailers or people putting up little shorts about this game's amazing, was that people were often in shrines or mazes or doing certain parts of the game that because you can do so much, the developers had like a plan to say kind of, this is how we expect you to complete this thing. But because your options are so limitless that I've seen so many people just like ham their way through all these different kind of puzzles and
I don't know if it's even cheesing. It's like a mechanic. Like you might be just too clever for the game. But it's like, do it.
And comparing it to other Zelda games.
Oh, before we do that, can I touch really quickly on another lovely thing about the mechanic of reversing time? It also ties into my bridge. I don't want to milk the bridge situation, but I want to tell you, because I'm not running across that bridge, okay? I just want you to know that I just need the distance. So what you would do is you would pick up the bridge as long as it is, and while you're holding it, you just rotate it around in a 360 degree angle, rotation, and then you just put it down, stand on it, press rewind, and it'll go around 360 degrees, bringing you at 180. You just jump off, and you're on the other side of wherever you need to go.
You don't even have to walk the bridge.
That's what I mean. I'm not walking that bridge.
Oh my God. So it's like you guys have become like the laziest people.
How is that lazy? That's ingenious, man.
Okay. It's brain exercise. It's body lazy. Yeah. So like, in terms of ability, so again, the last Zelda game that I really got into was Ocarina of Time on the 3DS. I know, for shame, but they haven't really grabbed me ever since that. And I love the absolute crap out of that.
Did you ever play Majora's Mask?
I did.
It's not as deep.
No, I preferred. I think I preferred Ocarina of Time. I think Ocarina of Time. I think the music and everything. And anytime someone says to me Zelda, that's what I think of. I think of young Link and running around. But you know, your abilities in that game consist of essentially your weapons or your outfit. Like in terms of you've got like you pick up the boots that help you sink in the water. You've got your little grappling hook, all that kind of stuff. Is there? You're probably going to say no to this. Probably is there too much going on with your abilities? Is it kind of overwhelming? Colm, you who hasn't played Breath of the Wild, did you come across this and say, Jesus Christ, this idea that I can do so much is actually taking away my enjoyment of the game?
No, I would say getting access earlier to the abilities is actually a better thing. I think like that's where they've learned from previous Zeldas more so, because very situational based Zelda games, like you were talking about Ocarina of Time, like the Fire Goron hammer.
Yes.
You're never going to use that. You use that for like a second once, and then it might come in handy to like punch a block out of the way that you could have just climbed over anyway.
Yeah.
But then like in other games as well, there's like there's shield things you can like sand surf on and stuff like that. In the train track one, I don't know what it's called, but one of them.
Spirit Tracks.
Spirit Tracks, yes. So there's always in every Zelda game, there's at least one or two quest items you get in a temple that's only used in that temple. And maybe, if you're lucky, like one random world kind of like, there might be a block that can only be that one item can, you know, damage it and bring you into a secret area. So very much so, Zelda games have always kind of gone with that, where as you go, you get like a new weapon, wherever you get that weapon, that's going to be the dungeon that you use it in. Whereas this was just like, go nuts, you know, like you can ascend, you can reverse time, you can pick things up, throw them over, do whatever you want, pick up a boulder, drop it on an enemy, and then like rewind it so it happens twice, 3 times, as many times as you want. It's so liberating, like, as the game. And I would say that like my first 2 to 3 hours, you know, like when you're in the Sky Archipelago Islands, that was really stressful. Like, not stressful, but like it was the most challenging time of the whole game for me, because I didn't quite understand the controls. The game almost expected me to know like certain little things, you know, like even later in the game I found out how to shield surf. It was about like 20-30 hours in, and I was just like, oh right, yeah, I remember people were saying you could do that, but you know, like whatever, I'll pass by that. But like having the access to get all this stuff earlier, it just means that you use them and they are all applicable within the world, as opposed to like those, you know, very select like other items that you'll never use again, bar that one dungeon you use it in. So I think in this game there's only like 5 abilities, maybe 6, but they're all very useful, and not even necessarily for combat, just for traversing or, you know, doing things in the world.
So that was my next question, based on the abilities and the traversal. I know from the trailers and from seeing some gameplay that a lot of the world has now these kind of floating islands as a more vertical aspect to this compared to Breath of the Wild. But they seem like really, really high up based on the trailers and stuff like that. Are they does that make like to get up there to do things there, is traversal in that sense, the verticality of it, difficult?
It is and it isn't. There are times where you could use rewind on like a rock that's fallen out of the atmosphere, not the atmosphere, but like it's fallen off one of those Sky Archipelago Islands. It lands on the ground, and if you see it, you can, you know, if you see it falling, go to that location, jump on it, rewind, pop up. Now you're on that location.
That is such a satisfying game mechanic.
Yes,
just that idea is so great. It's like it almost like forms a point of interest on your map as well. It's like, I know you probably didn't think about going up there, but this rock just fell. You fancy going up and seeing that?
Let's go see what's there. Yeah. And I think this is the best part of this game, that it is such an ADHD game, that every time you see something, I wanted to do this quest, but what is that over there right now? I am going to explore it. Yeah. And so many times have happened that I just started on a direction and was completely sidetracked by something that I saw, or something shimmering that fell from the sky, or...
And it could just be like you find a little cave, you go into it, and something unbelievable is in there that you weren't expecting. You just stumbled in there and you come across something that is like almost like Big Bad-esque, you know what I mean? Okay. Some dangers.
And that is not even mentioning, because you only know the game from the trailer.
I only know the game from trailers, and in fairness, I have watched, because one of the things I was quite interested in with that game, especially kind of in the first couple of weeks afterwards, when people were essentially just dicking about with like the things you can create, and I saw like, you know, the war machines people were coming with, you know, the big old giant dicks that were used
shooting fire and stuff,
shooting fires,
all that kind of stuff. And I was like, so my experience of the game isn't necessarily just the trailer. I've seen a lot of gameplay, but none of it is coherent in the context of a narrative or anything like that.
So you know, obviously, that there's the entire Hyrule that you can explore, and obviously there's the archipelago in the sky that you can explore. Do you know that there's a whole third huge map?
No, I didn't.
Yeah. So this is another thing that is that to me, this came as a huge surprise once I understood the extent of it. That under Hyrule there is a whole nother map that is the size of Hyrule.
Like a mirror image in darkness.
That's called the Depths. And go nuts, explore. And there's a whole nother line of side quests that's just there waiting for you.
Absolutely. And what's amazing, and like because you just brought up the Depths, and there's like, I saw like a little folklore kind of thing on Zelda. And, you know, like when you're in the depths, so the depths, Darren, just as you're just getting acquainted to it, it's just to mirror the shadow realm of Hyrule.
Nice, I love it. Yeah.
When you go down there, you have to light up things using like these bright blooms to like, you know, see your path. And every so often you'll see almost like a kind of budge, a fire budge. And when you go over there, it'll actually illuminate that area. So you'll be able to travel around and see where you're going. But what's in the depths as well is you'll always come across these statues of like soldiers and if you go over to them, they're holding weapons. And when you take the weapons off them, like let's say that the reason why like there's a lot of gloom in Hyrule and Ganondorf is the cause of it. But basically, it's like all the weapons and stuff and like the armories of Hyrule have all rusted, and this gloom is like corroding steel and iron and everything else. So when you go down into the depths, there's these just pristine swords. And it's like, what the hell is this? What's going on? And like the more, like I didn't really pick up on it on my playthrough. It was only by looking into it later in like the story and like people like talking about the like what this is. But basically those soldiers represent like a massive battle against the forces of evil. And like there's one or two locations in the whole map where you'll have 3 statues together, and they're like heroes of time, kind of putting the last stand in on that Ganondorf. And I was just like, oh my god, that is the coolest detail ever. And I'm using their weapon to like, you know, cut through the gloom once more. It's like,
and cool. Let's just mention that this entire whole map is completely optional. If you don't want to
go there.
Yeah.
There's no reason to go.
Dan, I hate to interrupt your flow,
Sorry,
but I'm just going to need you to probably get a little bit closer.
Oh,
to your,
no.
To your,
Yes.
There you go.
There we go.
There you go. Well,
I didn't want to put my lips on it, but now you're asking me to.
I know. I'm sorry.
I will also speak a little bit louder.
No. Your volume is absolutely fine.
Okay.
So the problem is that you all guys said this was professional. I've got the shittest, cheapest mics going, so you got to get right up in the grill of these guys to get this in. But okay, so we've talked abilities. And I mean, the scope of the place is massive as well. What else have you got on your list, Daniel?
So I was kind of wanted to ask you, Colm. This is kind of an interview now.
Oh.
What was your like the crowning achievement of Tears of the Kingdom? Forget about you fought the boss, you had the whole cutscene. What was the part that you were like, This is gonna go down in history. How this turned out, yeah.
Okay. Well, I don't have too many of them off the top of my head. I do have a battle-related one, and that is that was one that like I was so impressed with. I have a kind of spoilery one, which I won't go into.
No, I don't. Spoilers for me aren't a big deal, and I think if we're doing a full games club review, I mean, you guys have both finished this game, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I have anyway.
I mean, we'll put it now. Spoiler warning to all our viewers. Because the guys have finished it, we're going to talk about endings. Whatever.
Great. Okay. Well, then let's talk about that ending.
Yes. Sidestep that one just for a moment. Okay. So one of the coolest things I did within the game, real quick, was I went to a Coliseum in the depths. I had one of the hardest battles I've ever had. I fought a Lionel, and I fought another Lionel. And I fought 2 more Lionels at the same time. Then they fought like 2 or 3 more Lionels. That's like 5 to 7 Lionels. I killed all those motherfuckers. And at the very end of it, I was like, I don't even know what's happening here. Like, is there going to be more? And then a chest like just appears. And I'm like,
what was in it?
This better be fucking good. And I went over, I opened the chest, and not but Majora's Mask was in the chest.
Congratulations. Soft
Very
applause.
good.
Soft
Oh.
applause. Yeah. You did it.
I also earned that mask while wearing the Fierce Deity mask, which
that one is one of my favorite masks.
yeah, I found that totally by accident. This is another part of just traversing. I was traversing, gliding, and I saw like a volcano, and I was like, well, there's no fire in that volcano, so I'll just like drop in on top of it. And I was like, all right, well, this leads somewhere. So I dropped down, and I had to like
the eye of the skull, the skull.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah,
I just dropped into this area, and I didn't even have that at the time. I got this before I found that quest, so I randomly found this, and it was the mask of the Fierce Deity, like the Fierce Deity mask. It just increases your attack power. But in Majora's Mask, that is like how you turn into Big Link, isn't it?
Yep.
Yeah. And oh man, it just, you feel so fucking cool. You can get like the armor sets for all these things. I think Majora's Mask is just a mask, but like Fierce Deity, you can get the full outfit. You can,
and the sword as well.
And the sword.
And so Majora's Mask being the thing that gives you the power of Big Link. What does it do then in Tears of the Kingdom? Because you're already Big Link, right?
Oh, no, well, that would be the Fierce Deity. Yes, it just increases your attack power. That's the Fierce Deity mask, but Majora's Mask will... And it's kind of a weird power. It just says certain enemies will revere you or certain enemies won't attack you. And you can get like goblin masks or hobgoblin masks or like lizards.
You can just run through their
masks.
territory unaffected.
Yeah, so it's kind of like it just groups more enemies into one than a normal mask might have done. So you can like walk around and enemies will come over and have a question mark over their head, be like, what are you doing? It's kind of like Snake with his box in Metal Gear Solid.
What's in the box?
What's in the box?
For me, I remember got onto an archipelago. It was great. It was great fun. And then I looked up, and there was another island that was really, really far up. And at that point, I was really far into the game, so I had my favorite contraptions that I always built. I had like a dirigible with 2 hot air balloons with flamethrowers that were constantly propelling me up. So I was driving that dirigible upwards, and I get up to that place. There was no other way to get there. And there was a King Glyok there. So that is a 3-headed dragon. Each head had a different elemental power.
What?
Yes.
I didn't come across that.
Yeah. King Glyok, every head had a different elemental power. And that was an epic fight. And when I won, I was like, this is it. I don't need to fight Ganondorf.
Yeah.
This was incredible. And I didn't know what was there. It was just a thing that I really wanted to go and see, because I thought to myself, okay, there's going to be a chest there, something silly. And then there was this huge ass dragon there, and I got to fight it, and it was so satisfying.
I think the things I love about how brave that is from a game design perspective, and I always kind of think back to like Red Dead Redemption 2 as my best example, is that there's so much in that game that can be just completely and utterly missed because it's nothing to do with the mainline story whatsoever. They're just going about their business. But it's like this absolute devotion to the task at hand to make this excellent game, and to understand that gamers are and if they're fans of Red Dead, if they're fans of Zelda, that they're going to want to go and explore these things. So this idea that you both finished the game, Colm, I know from talking to you poured loads of time into it, that you still didn't discover, you didn't discover this dragon thing, and it's a massive part of Daniel's experience playing the game. But I love that, they never said, hey, we think this is a cool thing, we're going to make it very obvious for everybody to find. It's like, no, only those willing to
explore,
really go deep in exploration are going to get this one. And I love that idea.
And I think with this particular game, I think it doesn't have the same replay ability as certain games. For me, I felt like while I was playing it, I was like, this is a one playthrough game for me, and I'm just going to do everything before I finish the game. And for ages, I had I wasn't down, but I was like losing interest within the game, like doing the side quests, and I only had a few left. Like I got real deep into them, and obviously I didn't find the source to set me up for side quests, so there's still loads out there I never saw. But I basically kind of got to the very end of my own side quests, all that kind of stuff, and I was like, right, okay, I'm finally ready to go get Ganondorf. But then, even before I went to do it, I was like, but am I gonna miss something really
maybe
cool?
One more, maybe a little bit more.
And that could have been just how I play that game. But I do feel like if you were to go exploring everything, like every little crevice and shit like that, and then go clear the game, you're not going to have another playthrough for a year to 2 years, maybe a little bit longer, which I think is fine. Like if you want to do it that way, that's fine. But if you kind of not rush through the game, but don't do a lot of side missions or exploring, I feel like that's I can't imagine playing this game that way.
Yeah, you miss out on a lot of stuff.
Yeah, so I think you would have to throw your life into the mix and just be like, well, this is what I do now.
Yes, I am an explorer of Hyrule.
I am Zelda.
What was the thing that surprised you the most in the game? Like compared to other Zeldas? I have my answer in mind, but
surprised me the most. Let me think about it, and let's Daniel.
So for me, what surprised me the most? I think for me, haven't played a lot of Zelda games. The fanfare around finding the Master Sword, getting to the secret getting to the Lost Woods, finding your way to the pedestal. Taking the sword out of the pedestal, it always had this
waste
air of ooh, yes, now the game is going to begin. And it happened the same in Breath of the Wild, but this one I got to where I knew the Master Sword was, and they told and the character there, the Deku Tree, told me, oh, Master Sword, no, I don't have that. It's somewhere there, but it appears to be moving around the map. And I'm looking at that like, I know where it is. And that just got me on a completely... I think the way that they did the Master Sword in this game is out of this world.
Yeah, it's for Darren and for listeners, if we are doing spoilers, which I think is fine.
Skip this part very, very severely.
If Darren, if you'd like to go to the bathroom or make
I'm on it. No, hit me. I'm ready.
Like
I'm ready for this.
Well, what Daniel's about to lay down on you is like end of game knowledge. So you have been warned.
Yeah.
3.
So what
2, 1. Spoilers.
What you find out is that the Master Sword is actually embedded in the head of a flying dragon around Hyrule.
Oh, is it the flying white thing that I saw in some
Yeah,
of the
it's
trailers?
a flying white dragon.
Cool.
Are we going further?
I don't know. See,
Yeah.
this is where
Well, guys, the people have been warned. We're here to talk about the game
were
in its
warned,
entirety.
they were warned. They were warned.
Daniel.
So as you take out the Master Sword, there is a completely separate side quest, and that is, I think, the best side quest of the game, Tears of a Dragon, where you follow Zelda's journey in what happened to her after you meet Ganondorf, after you face him for the first time. She goes back in time. It's a whole mess.
There's
That
like
doesn't matter.
12 different cutscenes that kind of will like give you drips of information of what happened.
Okay.
And they're awesome. The 13th one is the best. That's the one that gave me goosebumps.
Anime.
yeah,
Anime, yeah. And you find out that in order to restore a broken Master Sword in the past, Zelda becomes a dragon, and the Master Sword is embedded in her in order for her to restore its energy.
Now, if I could just quickly interject, because Darren crossed his arms, and I don't know if there was a mild sigh, but before people are like, Zelda just turned into a dragon. That is true, but they all have these like sage stones that amplify their abilities, and swallowing a sage stone it'll leave you
Causes draconification.
Draconification. Yes.
Yeah.
Draconification.
Draconification, baby.
You're a D&D character.
Yes, it
coming
is.
alive.
And my Baldur's Gate 3 character. But yes, so swallowing that will turn them into like an eternal dragon or like one of those kinds of celestial-esque dragons. But they'll lose all sense of themselves. They will cease to exist as a person. And now they're just a roaming dragon.
So, and not to get bogged down in the, what would you say, the sense of all this, because it's a fantasy game. But if she is there as a dragon in your times, that's Zelda going around as a dragon with the Master Sword embedded in her. Is that I mean, I don't mean to be spoiled. Is that the Zelda of this universe, or is Zelda still rocking about with you?
No, Zelda's not with you. You don't know where she is. Yeah. In Link's timeline, while you're playing,
she was with you at the start of the game, and then you fought Ganon, and then your arm got fucked up, and she vanished.
You lose, the Master Sword breaks, and she vanishes.
Wow.
And
then, I think I figured this one out, fellas. Don't worry.
And then only afterwards you find out she went back in time, and that's where she...
and which also highlights Daniel's whole like big surprise, which is when you go to the Deku tree looking for your Master Sword, he's like, it seems to be moving. And you're like, depending on how many cutscenes you've seen, you might be piecing things together, because you won't always see them in sequence. You might see them, like the very first one you see might be the one where Zelda turns into a dragon, for all you know. So, that's how it is. But like, it's up to you to kind of piece that together without having all the information. Or even if you do have all the information, you might have just forgotten. And then when you go up to confront this dragon and go to the source of the moving Master Sword, you'll pull that out, and... it doesn't...
2 stamina wheels.
Yes. Yeah, okay. You need 2 stamina wheels to pull that shit out. But it doesn't unlock Zelda from her thing, right?
No, it's only at the very end of the game when you beat Ganon.
She's essentially, in Ocarina of Time, the like Triforce-esque stump that it rests into, that is now her forehead.
Nice.
So you take that out, and I think, again, after playing so many Zelda games where in each one of them you go to the pedestal, you take it out... This one was such a breath of fresh air. It was, they just really flipped the script, and it was so fun. To get onto that dragon to begin with.
Yeah.
Like, how do you land on a dragon? And then to find the sword, and then to fail because you don't have enough stamina, and then to take it out finally. It was so satisfying.
I mean, I can get behind this game. I think, but so we're definitely playing along time wise, and I just want to look at your because I don't know what your topic list is. I don't know if we're halfway.
I've chucked that topic list. This is just I'm just like I said, I'm just enjoying to fawn over Zelda. Yeah.
Is there any other aspects of the game that you'd like to delve into from a said secret topic list or
secret topic list? I don't know. I have here. So best contraption built that was offered by Craig. Either the spectacular success or failure.
Did you have any? That's my question, because one of the things that I was curious about was this idea that you could, pretty much. I wouldn't call it cheating, but you could, I wouldn't even say glitch, but you could ham your way through shrines or puzzles. Did either of you guys ever come across a situation where you thought you had it solved and you accidentally solved it based on the fact that the physics of this game are so wild?
Not necessarily. Like once or twice there was one problem that was really pissing me off. I had to bounce a ball, like let a ball drop down, and then you had to like reverse time and get it to bounce and keep on timing it so that it would eventually meet its end destination and hit a little like ring thing or whatever. And I was fucking around with that for so long, almost got a few times, and it was really annoying me. So I just was like, I'm gonna just try this, and I took out a spear and I fused the ball to my spear and I threw it at the thing and it worked. And I was like, okay, that works.
What about you, Dan? Did you ever fudge it?
Well, yeah, I fudged all of those shrines because once I realized how strong that reverse time was, everything was easy. Once I realized that I can just pick up stuff, stand on top of it, and just move around wherever I wanted. That was it. That was it for me.
So, next question for me is the game because these powers, speaking to me as a layman who hasn't played the game, these powers seem overpowered to me. Being able to reverse time, all this fusion, having puzzles that you don't even really have to solve in what would be considered a normal route. Is the game easy? Is it too easy? I
feel like having cleared it, playing it again, I would find it easy, but I don't think it is inherently easy. I think it's the more comfortable you get and the more confident you get messing around with shit, the better you will get at it. But you'll take to it faster if you're fucking around because you'll get an idea for the engine. But I don't think that the game's engine necessarily affects combat. Like not all the time. Like you could throw a barrel theoretically, but very often it's like, like an example of a contraption I tried to make to like streamline battle was I made like a log and like a few things.
You and your logs.
I know, this one wasn't a bridge.
So I made a log and I made 20 of them and I put them together as a bridge.
I actually, not the bridge part, but I did actually put a few logs together and spin them around and try to like use that to bash enemies. It actually kind of worked, but it also hit me. But the one that really got me was you can get these like cannons. They're like zonite cannons and they just shoot a charged blast and it'll explode everything kind of in its path. So I had this like area where I was getting ready to shoot all these enemies that were right ahead of me. I was like, right, like almost like, sign for the artillery, like, like wave your hand, shoot the artillery. It fired once and then the movement from firing made it tip down and forward and I couldn't turn it off and it just kept shooting and blowing up into the ground and I was kind of close to a wall, so I was just forever hitting the wall, sliding back down and then hitting it, and every so often you get a few seconds of invulnerability, so you just start running away from the wall like go, or try to like fast travel, which you can fast travel anywhere as well. In hindsight I probably should have done that quicker.
That was super fun.
A question I have to you then, because one of the things that I saw the first trailer for Tears of the Kingdom that was released and I was very much disappointed by what I saw in the first trailer. Because to me, it didn't look all that different from Breath of the Wild. And it was, I think, just short of 6 years in development. 5 years going on 6 years.
Yeah, 6 years.
Was the first trailer the one where it was just them walking in the darkness?
It was that. And then it showed some of the world. But, because graphically it looks...
So first trailer was that just them walking, the opening cutscene of Zelda. And
the second trailer started to show mechanics.
They showed you a little bit of mechanics. Yeah.
Was it worth the 6 year wait?
100%. Yeah. 100%. If anything, if I know anything about Nintendo, is they don't rush things, and I appreciate them because if they want to give you a finished product, and that game was a finished product.
Yeah.
No day one patch required, you know.
Nothing of the sort, and it was like I mentioned before, the ability to fuse everything you wanted, the ability to build so many things, that the world felt way more alive than it did in Breath of the Wild, because there was so many things that you could do with the world. So all of a sudden, you know, finding a rock wasn't just finding a rock. Finding a mushroom wasn't just finding a mushroom. It was like, okay, what can I actually do with these things? Or, for example, there's one of the mushrooms, it causes confusion, right? It has spores that cause confusion. So you can shoot the mushroom, attach it to an arrow, and shoot it at an enemy. Or you can fuse it to your shield. And then when the enemy hits you, the mushroom kind of releases its spores. And then the entire battle kind of tips to your favor. There's so many things to do. The options are nearly infinite, I think. And if that took them 6 years, take those 6 years. Absolutely.
There's a technical marvel about the game, and Daniel's already touched on some of it, which is the when you reverse time, as we said, if you move any object around, or if an enemy moves an object around, that's tracked, and it's tracked for good. Like if you leave, come back a little while later, is that item still there? It'll still be on that path as long as you haven't hit it again. What's also in the game is a thing called the Hero's Medallion, and this is super useful, super amazing. But basically, it'll track where you've been on the map, and you can set it to a few different things. But you can literally set it to where you've been, the times that you have been, where's the most recent area I've been, and you can have a look at the whole time that you've like been playing and where you've gone to. So if you're just like, oh, like I wonder if I've been down here, maybe I have, it was a few hours ago, I don't remember it, you can go to your heroes map and it tracks everything that you've done, like traveled around the map, all that kind of stuff. And I think you could put like a few locations down, that's just fast travel. But just the logistics of it being able to track where you've been for the whole game, and you can follow that thread if you want to, and backtrack and like try find areas that you might not have explored yet. Like it's such a simple, it's just a GPS, but like the fact that the game is capable of tracking that from your very first like hour or so in the game, and then to be able to do that with every single item that exists in the game that has like while around you been interacted with. You know,
I find the concept of that amazing for the Switch when you consider what other games are coming out on the Switch kind of in around the same time or just before. Like there's Pokemon games that were Violet and Scarlet that were just looked awful. It is, you know, I guess when you think of the 6-year timeline, they were squeezing every bit of juice out of what the Switch could actually think. My final question, like I guess, unless there's anything either you guys want to dig into before I get on, is there anything else you guys particularly want to talk about?
Will we talk about that amazing final boss battle?
We may as well. If I had a tiny little precursor in, and this is just another amazing thing within this world. I was just traveling. I went into a cave. There was this thing called a gloom. I'm going to call it a gloom hand. It's just a load of hands that come out of the gloom. I didn't know, like you've come across it, but they fuck you up, so you stay away from them. The first time I challenged one was in a cave. After I beat it, I was like, cool, I beat it. What's it going to drop me? And then out of nowhere, fucking Shadow Ganondorf just comes out of nowhere and starts fucking charging you down with like a big fucking sword or a big glaive, axe, anything. Like it happens a few times throughout it. But the first time it happens, it's shocking. It's like, holy fuck! Like, ugh.
This is the end of the game or part of the end of the game?
I just fought like a tricky fucking enemy that has
it's
for
like
the
7
early
hands
game.
just kind of move in a shadowy thing, and they grab you, and it's very the first time I met that.
It killed you, I'm guessing?
No, I went up a tree and I just waited it out. I was like, I don't know how to fight this thing. Later on, I got a little stronger and I beat it. And I was like, yes, good from... Oh, no. And then just a health bar for Shadow Ganon. Like, oh, I can't do this.
Yeah, it was very shocking because first I just went into an insignificant cave or so I thought. I think there might have been like an armor piece in there as well, like in hindsight, like a fierce deity chest or legging piece. But just like that, you go exploring, come across this shadowy gloom thing that fucked you up, and you're like, I'm going to get my revenge, kill it. And then fucking Ganondorf shows up and you're like, what in the fuck is happening right now? Yeah. But then just with that little like gloom Ganondorf or the phantom of Ganondorf, that leads kind of into the main boss, who is also Ganondorf, but he's not a gloom, or he is the gloom.
Well, he's Where the gloom starts, I guess.
Yeah, he
It's the source
he
of all
exudes gloom.
He exudes gloom.
Yeah.
Oh, I like that. Yeah.
Yeah. The gloom exuder.
Gloom.
So obviously, Colm mentioned it that you get those sages that come in and help you out, and you basically travel with them. At the very end of the game, you have 5 companions, and each one has a very special power that helps you out. My favorite one, obviously, was the big giant robot. I don't know about
That
you.
only came in late in the game, but that was pretty badass.
That was amazing. So you just climb on a robot, you fuse different things to it, like a cannon or whatever.
Make
and
them
you
run
just,
fast.
You just kaiju battle a bunch of things. And then when you get to the big battle, if you really tracked and did all those sage quests, they help you out in the final battle.
Yeah.
So you don't have to fight, because usually you have the boss rush in every Zelda game. You have a bit of a boss rush.
Mm-hmm. Can you fight Ganon without having done the 5 sages thing?
Can, but you have to fight each and every one of the bosses.
Oh,
yeah.
I didn't know that. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So like they'll like your amigos will show up and they'll like, it's
we'll take care of that.
Yeah, like we'll handle this. You go fight the big bad. And I took ages trying to finish the game, so I had that all done.
Everybody,
I never realized that was like a mechanic. I was just like, oh, maybe it just won't let you fight him or he'll batter you or something.
So if you don't get them, then you have to fight the bosses that you didn't do the sages for.
Yeah,
which is pretty cool.
Oh, nice. Did you do that? Or?
Yeah, no, I had everybody. Yeah. Marcus went and checked what happens if you don't have them.
Yeah.
And then you get to Ganon and that Ganondorf, and that was an amazing boss fight, I thought.
And I love Zelda games generally are great and all, but I love when Ganondorf is in a human form.
Yes.
And
like Smash Brothers Ganondorf.
Yes, and the visual style for Ganondorf in this game. If they make a new Smash Brothers, and I know they might not do it without, is it Miyazaki?
No.
Oh God.
Craig will be shouting it down on his radio, his phone.
Oh God!
If only we had a world.
Hey Craig, why don't you text me later in life and tell me what his name is?
But yes, if he comes back to make a Smash Bros. game,
Miyamoto, is that it?
No,
that's a Mario. Sorry,
Sakurai.
Yes,
You're welcome.
So if he was to ever make a new game, I'd love it if he used that skin for Ganondorf. And even if he's done with it and they make a new game anyway,
whoever's
love
in
that
charge,
skin.
just give it a skin.
He's so fucking cool, Darren.
Yeah.
So cool.
They really made him amazing, and this is the best Ganondorf that I've seen so far, I think.
I mean, cause from the trailer you see a skeletal form of Ganon, and I remember even when I saw that and while I was playing through it, I was like, it's gonna be a fucking a spectral thing, and he's gonna inhabit random monsters or whatever's gonna happen there. And then no, he gets his form back and he's a fucking beast.
I love that.
Yeah.
He has 3 forms actually.
Yeah.
And the third one is great. I thought.
Is that a return to form if I remember?
He eats the sage stone.
Yeah.
And
he dragonifies himself.
He dragonifies himself.
I have been listening to the conversation.
And at the end, you have a dragon Ganondorf. Dragendorf.
Dragendorf.
Yeah.
Heard it here first, folks.
And you are riding Dragon Zelda and jumping off of her to try and reach Dragon.
That's very
Dragendorf.
Shadow of the Colossus.
It is such a good game, Darren. And if we could not convince you to play it today, then I don't know what's wrong with you.
Oh, yeah. I'm the problem. I guess my final question, because I think I would be convinced. I think I definitely want to play Breath of the Wild before I get into that. I would love to see.
I don't think it's necessary.
Waste your time.
Yeah. I haven't, and I fucking love this game.
No.
Yeah.
I feel like you might burn out your momentum. Is that
Yep.
yeah?
Yep.
Yeah, that's true. And I do have a habit of doing that, in fairness.
I'm honestly telling you that after playing Tears of the Kingdom, don't waste your time with Breath of the Wild. It's an amazing game, groundbreaking.
7-year-old game.
Tears of the Kingdom just took everything that Breath of the Wild did and just magnified it, made it work, made it better, made it more accessible, made it much more fun.
And my final question to close of this episode to both of you would be, after playing Breath of the Wild, and let's say the next Zelda game is another 5-6 years off and it's going to be on the Switch 2 or whatever the fuck the future of Nintendo looks like, what is left, what can be done to improve Zelda, or what do you want to see from the next iteration of Zelda?
Can I have a tiny go at it? And
Yeah.
this is just because I read this kind of recently and I thought it was really cool. It was just the fact that like the whole reason Tears of the Kingdom is the way it is because the Zelda team, like when they finished Breath of the Wild, they were like, okay, there's still more in this world that we can do, still more things we can add, do more with it. And then recently when they finished Tears of the Kingdom, they were like, we're kind of done with it. Like the only way we will do a third one set in this world and so on is if we can change like the mechanics. So they're looking to challenge themselves and not just create a clone of what's come and then just re-release it for money's sake. And like you were saying, they take their time. 6 years is a long time for any one game. Like Bethesda would have thrown out like fucking 6 shit games in that amount of time. Like realistically at least 5.
At least 5.
So like it's nice that they've gone and done it that way, and then the fact that like they're open to reusing it, but they don't have any plans for DLC. So if they do it, they're making a new game and they'll just reuse certain things. They might try keep it within the Breath of the Wild kind of universe and the Tears of the Kingdom universe as well, or like it's almost set a new staple for how Zelda is played, that if they went back to the overtop view or the kind of like a different style, they really need to be treading water and like moving forward and really like pushing the game down new innovative ways.
So my only question is, or from my perspective, is that Zelda as a story, because it's always Zelda going back and making sure that there is a Link, a hero, to come forward and battle the evil that is Ganondorf.
Sure, they all get reincarnated. Whatever, yeah.
Do you think that, because I mean, that's an easy way to just make a new iteration of the game each and every time. Would Zelda benefit from the likes of what would have happened to the God of War series in 2018, where they took what kind of existed but really grounded the game in a I'm not even say realistic narrative, but really grounded the game in that we're going to tell a real proper story here from start to finish? Is that thing a Zelda game needs, or does Zelda work because it doesn't follow in a kind of context like that?
So I think that, first of all, in my opinion, Tears of the Kingdom and Breath of the Wild, and again, Tears of the Kingdom to some extent, actually goes back to what Legend of Zelda was back in the beginning. You had this world, you had no idea what you wanted to do, the game just told you, go explore. This was like the first Zelda back in 1986 on the original NES. And what, in my opinion, and again, playing a lot of these Zelda games, it almost became formulaic since Ocarina of Time. And this is why I have this gripe with Ocarina of Time for me, because the world isn't open. You don't go explore. They take you on a tour of Hyrule. You can't go to the Death Mountain until you do this. You can't go here until you get that item. You can't go there until you talk to this person. And from Ocarina, every Zelda game after that had the same formulaic approach. You had to do things in a certain order, or otherwise the game would not progress. And then Breath of the Wild came in, and it just shattered everything that Zelda was for the past 20 years. And it was such a breath of fresh air that when Tears of the Kingdom came out and just enhanced upon that, I think that for them to go back to the formulaic approach of, we're going to take you on a tour, hold your hand, and take you each temple or each dungeon or whatever, it's going to be such a disappointment. And I just don't think that they themselves want to go back there.
Nice.
I think I read an interview with the developing team that said that this is what they want Zelda to do from now on. There's going to be a puzzle, and then they want the player to find the best solution that the player wants to do, not the one that the game wants you to do. And I think giving a player such freedom to do whatever you want to do and play the game your way, it's an empowering experience, because what Colm went through in his game, I'm like, oh yeah, that's cool that you went through. And then what I went through, he's saying, oh, I never got to that place, to those places. I love the fact that each person playing the game has such a completely unique experience of it that I don't think that they will ever go back to this formulaic storytelling. It's going to be just, please enjoy this world that we've created and go and have fun with it. And I would be a little disappointed if they went back if they went back to your previous Zelda games.
I get you. And there's one other thing there as well, which is like they're traditionally through Zelda, it's reincarnation, the hero time. It's always been, and every new Zelda game you almost just think of as like, it's just a different timeline. In this game, if they want to keep Breath of the Wild as the first Zelda, and then they want to treat Tears of the Kingdom as like the second, there's a big time gap there. And Zelda also, as we discussed, she goes back in time 100 years, maybe longer. In that time, she's telling people about the battle that her and Link have had with Ganondorf. They failed. She's back in time. She's trying to gain strength to help defeat Ganon. So her presence is her talking about the hero of time. That's how people will know of Link. Like, she tells them all, like all these sages that have amazing powers, one day a swordsman will come to you and I ask that you help him. His name is Link. And that is like, from then on, when they hear your name,
I'm getting goosebumps. I don't know about you.
It's just the whole thing is that by her going back in time after your failed battle with Ganon, she's trying to get, like, you find the strength to rebuild the Master Sword, get back to the time, however that has to happen. And in that time, she's telling the story of Link and how he's going to need these people and their descendants to help him defeat evil, essentially.
Yeah.
And it's just, you know, if you wanted to take it from ignore all the other games, bar Breath of the Wild, then that would just be enough of a reason for them to talk about the hero of time without the need for so much reincarnation or iterations over different time periods, you know? So it's just cool. That's all.
Oh, nice. Amazing. Because it sounds like we could go on by talking about Zelda.
Oh, yes.
Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom for a long time. But we do have to bring it to a close at some point. What are the nuts? Is there like nuts or like certain creatures in the games?
Koroks.
Korok seeds.
Out of 10 Koroks, how many Koroks are you giving Tears of the Kingdom?
I'm going to give it 9.8 Korok seeds.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Almost. Wow. My goodness.
I think it's well deserving of that, if not the full 100 or 10 Korok. Sorry.
Yeah, I'm going to give it a 10 Korok seed for me. Yeah, definitely.
Wow.
Definitely.
Ladies and gentlemen, you heard it here first. A resounding 10 out of 10 for Tears of the Kingdom. I should definitely get my hands on
That's 19.8 Korok seeds.
I finished the game. Listen, Daniel, thank you so much for joining us on your very first episode.
Not at all. And sorry, I'm going away because I came prepared. And Darren, I would like you to play Tears of the Kingdom.
Oh my God. He's giving me his Switch.
No. But this is how I transport my games. And there it is.
Oh my God.
Please keep it safe.
Keep it secret.
Keep it secret.
Keep it secret. Okay, I now have Tears of the Kingdom in my hand, and I will return here in some
in
time
a year's time
to give it 10 Korok seeds of myself.
Nice.
Of my
and
own.
hopefully no salty Tears of the Kingdom.
Ooh. Well, we'll wait to find out. So Daniel, thank you very much for the game. Thank you very much for joining me. Hope to get you on another episode soon.
Thank you very much for having me.
Of my pleasure. And Colm, thank you so much as always for joining.
A pleasure, Darren. Thank you for hosting this chat between me and Darren.
Here's me with zero idea how to engage. No, so what we're going to do is, for those who don't know, we do have a Patreon, and on that Patreon you can listen to kind of post shows that we do after our normal shows, where we get into other bits and pieces, maybe related to the main show, maybe not. In this one, we're going to go in and I'm going to talk to Daniel and Colm about their favorite Zelda games and why, or what might take the lead. I'm thinking 10 Koroks over here is probably going to pick Tears of the Kingdom. But
no Tears of the Kingdom with bar Tears of the Kingdom, which is the best.
Okay, we'll take that.
Yeah.
And if you want to know, you go to patreon.com/the gift of gaming, and you can find it there. Sign up for the price of a coffee a month, and there is tons more content there for you guys to have a listen to. Again, gentlemen, thank you for coming along. Thank you for sticking around for the post show.
Thank you very much.
And to our listeners out there, keep enjoying the gift that is gaming. Peace out.
Bye bye.